It's verse 6 of Valli 6 in my book. And
it's page 279.
279. Indriyanam Prutak Bhavam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we were talking about this verse and we didn't finish it. That how this is another way of, Sheilaji asked, no, that how to concentrate on the self. This is another method is given here. That, hey, our indriyas are like outwardly, right? So they kind of connect you to the outside world. And then if we don't ponder upon what self is, firstly, we cannot, if nobody told us, we wouldn't even know the word self, right? I would just assume that these indriyas are me and this body is me. When we are born, that's how we think. Very few people have this intuitive knowledge there's something more. So we have to read in the Shastra. Somebody has to tell us. The Guru and I still remember that when we first day when we went to in the study group, and my friend Madhu, she said she went home and she said, I'm not the body? How can that be? She just totally puzzled. And now she's, can give a lecture on it after 10 years, whatever, 20 years. It's like, somebody has to tell us, right? So that's what here is telling you that how, look at your own indriyas, that how different they are. They are 5 indriyas, they come from the elements. Element themselves come from something else that we learned. They are not primary. So that means there is some factor which is unchanging, And all these other, and then they saying that they rise and they fall, the indriyas. And then we know that when we go to sleep, our indriyas are folded. हम लोग को दुनिया दिखाई नहीं देती है. Then the mind gets active. We project something and we experience the whole world just through the mind without the indriyas. So indriyas are not even primary, And then it's want to tell you that, hey, that, just the people who know the difference, that these indriyas are just a temporary thing, changing thing, they can rise and fall, but there's something else which stayed constant. If you get established in that person, matva dhidona shochati, that person does not have grief anymore. And then I think that right when I started coughing and all that, there was something I was going to mention is that there is where is it? There was a sentence from the Upanishad. Yeah. Taranti something. I don't know where it is now. Basically, in the Upanishad, there is a very, in the Chandogya Upanishad, I think, yes, it says Tarati Shokam Atmavit, famous statement. The knower of the self goes beyond all sorrows. So, if you sometime like our Swamiji used to say that, hey, why should I study the Shastra? मेरे को क्या मिलेगा? That तुम सब शोक से परे हो जाओगे. So these are the carrots in front of us कि हम क्यों करें? Because we will not have any grief. So that's the famous sentence from Chandogya Upanishad, and this is what this verse is kind of telling you, that that you will go beyond. So keeping all that in mind, let's do the reading. Meena ji, would you like to read?
I'm going to start with the meaning first, a wise man. Start from the very beginning. Is that it? Mm-hmm. Or where do you want me to start?
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, we didn't read. Oh. Yeah, we went through the whole thing.
A wise man, having understood that the senses separately produced and also their rising and setting are distinct from the Atman, grieves no more. One who has read the previous mantra and has thoroughly understood its significances shall surely ask the question, why after all should one try to realize the eternal self in the human life? The answer is given by Shruti, Bhagavad Bhagavati in this mantra.
So just Swamiji is just mentioning that
Bhagavati.
he's just saying that the last part matvo dhira no shochati, the person doesn't grieve anymore. That's why we are studying this.
Okay. The sense organs are distinctly separate from eternal and changeless truth that resides in us. The senses are separate from the Atman because they are effects produced out of certain causes, while the Atman is the very uncaused cause. Again, the 5 different sense organs are each different, not only in themselves, but in their very original causes, the 5 fundamental elements.
So we discussed in detail that how the sense organs are different from each other. The eyes can only see, it cannot hear, and all that. And also the capacity is very limited. And even within same species, there could be different different data collection from these. Right? Somebody can see more, somebody can hear more, and all that. And among animals, even different. Basically, it's just different. And they are also original cause of these are the 5 elements. That's where we discussed that each one is coming from. I thought that was so scientific. I've never seen a modern science talk about that kind of language. Where are the senses coming from? I have to tell you this. So there was some program was there on TV called Infinity, right? What is infinity? And all these scientists are talking about infinity. I mean, here in Vedanta, they tell you very clearly what infinity. God is infinite, we are finite. Simple, okay? And like there is no birth, no death. The definition is given, right? वो लोग इतना स्ट्रगल किया खूब सारे उन्होंने क्या बोलते हैं फॉर्मूलाज बोले साइंस बोला ये बोला 1 घंटे तक बोलते रहे सभी लोग डिफरेंट और बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग भी था 2 घंटे तक 1 घंटे पे एंड में ना सब मम्बल फंबल करने लगे एंड देन दे स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग अबाउट गॉड एंड दिस एंड दैट they could not come to a conclusion what infinity was and then they
स्वामी जी नहीं थे
कोई स्वामी नहीं था they were all scientists
अगर स्वामी सर्वप्रेमानंद जी को
वो भेज देते तो वो सबको ठीक कर देते 2 मिनट में I know but it was and even we were just smiling. I said my God, they need some Swami here. They are as confused as they were in the beginning what infinity is. In fact, they started concluding hai nahi infinity. So I said Vedanta has covered everything. Complete satisfaction.
Not only they are in themselves thus different and arise from different causes, but also they are eternally changing as they react from moment to moment differently with different objects that come in contact with them. In the waking state, they are all quite receptive and available for their individual expressions. While the moment the individual is asleep, the capacity of his sense organs to react with their objects folds up into a state of dormancy, udayasta mayu, meaning rising and setting. Oh, udaya, okay. And the folded up abilities and capacities in the indriya seem to manifest themselves all at once the moment the individual wakes up from his sleep.
So everybody has that experience.
Just as you mentioned, that they fold up and
they're
right.
available for outside Uday and Ast hote hain. हाँ.
Uday Ast. What is Mayu?
I think that's the Sanskrit word. It's talking about that Udayastamayo. Like let's see, rising and it's a part of that rising. And I don't know the Sanskrit language that well, but they are quoting from the. If you go to the verse, it is exact word is there Udayastamayo.
Udaya I know is a rising.
Yeah, I think that Mayo is it's like when together they talk about it. It's some Sanskrit thing they do.
A wise, discriminating man, differentiating between the eternal factor, the Atman, and the ever-changing play of passing expressions in his indriyas, comes to grieve no more. All our sorrows in life are due to our lending ourselves to the misunderstanding that we are the ego centers and thereby becoming ourselves victims to all our mental demands, intellectual assertions, and sense appetites. In the right knowledge of our total independence from the winding chains of these limitations, we shall reach a state of existence where sorrow or grief has no meaning. The state of perfect bliss, eternally untouched by sorrow, is the Padvi status that Shruti promises to one who dares follow the razor path of knowledge and realizes the self in this very birth, as she called upon us to do in the previous two mantras. That a self realized soul would eternally be beyond all sorrows is an oft repeated statement in our sacred scriptural literature. The knower of the self goes beyond the shores of sorrow, says another Upanishad.
So this was that Chandogya Upanishad, Tareti Shokam Atmavit, the very famous sentence, it seems, that, that the knower of the self goes beyond the shores of sorrow. So that's what it is. So basically, just telling you that when we are lending ourselves to the misunderstanding that we are the ego center, that's where all the problems start, according to the Vedanta. And then we become victims of our mental demands, intellectual assertion, and sense appetites. And he's saying that what it is, that one who transcends this, then he doesn't feel the shock. It's something like, I think the example could be when we are in dream and we are having some issues in the dream, some kind of pain, or maybe some tiger is chasing us, we're so scared and all that. When we wake up, we don't need to go shoot that tiger over there anymore. It's gone. It's hard for us, very, very hard for us. Because, I think that it was Tejo Banerjee who said this sentence. It is so good. He's saying that we live in the relative reality. It's not absolute reality. So don't lend so much importance to it. Oh, hi, main mar gayi, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya, So, but...
In two different states. So dream state is one state where, the two states cannot be put together. You can only be in one state at a time.
True, but all he was telling you is wake up. See, it is something like...
the fourth state, Turiya.
No, but what I'm trying to tell you is this. When you're in a dream, it feels very real. Suppose a guru comes in the dream and says, hey, hello, this is only a dream. You're another state, okay? You're going to wake up and you're not going to feel anything. We have to believe that guru. That's what he's trying.
In that state only.
Yes.
Because once we wake up, we're out of that state and we don't have the guru.
Then we don't need the guru. If you're already experienced.
Do we believe in our dreams? We don't generally believe dreams.
When do we not believe?
Even if a guru comes, we still won't believe. Even we see Lord Krishna in our dream. Would we see when we wake up?
No, that's not what it means. What it means is that when you are in a particular state, you think this is it.
Yes.
Okay? And mostly in our dream, until we wake up, we don't feel. Yes. But what they're trying to tell you is that while you are in the dream, you realize that this is not the it. So when we are in this state, what we are seeing right now, the world and all, it looks so real. If somebody comes and hurts me, pokes a thing, I'm going to feel the pain. And I'm going to say, what are you telling me? I'm feeling the pain. And they say, no, but you're not the body. And we know that if I give the anesthesia over there, I don't feel the pain. Right? So it is something temporary thing, this pain, whatever I'm feeling. So right now, if somebody is coming and telling me I have to have Shraddha and faith in the Shruti, in everything, I don't have that experience yet, but I have to have Shraddha that this is temporary.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And what was I saying? Yeah. See, this one particular concept that a wise, this last paragraph, the way it begins, a wise discriminating man, differentiating between the eternal factor, the Atman, and the ever-changing play of passing expression in the Indriyas. So on one hand, what do they mean by it? Because we did that concept with our 15-year-old children, so I can talk about that scientifically speaking, for any change to take place, you need a changeless substratum. Otherwise, it cannot happen. It's a scientific fact. It's something like, I want to watch a movie, I need a screen. Without screen, no matter what it is, I cannot see the movie. Everybody agrees? Or say for a river to flow, you need a river bed. Everybody, this is a known fact, right? Without a river bed, you cannot have a river. You need something where the river can flow. So same way, we know that everything changes in the world. Our body is changing, outside world, the sun is changing, moon is changing, everything. We know that this distance between sun and the moon and the earth is slowly becoming bigger. Very, very little, 4 inches or something every, I don't know, year, but it is happening, right? The change. So if we apply the same law into this, we know that if there is a changing world, then unchanging substratum has to be there.
Right.
Without that, change cannot happen. So that unchanging thing, you can call it God, you can call it consciousness, whatever name you want to give, it has to be there. That's the point they're trying to bring over here. That, this changing world is there, and the indriyas are the main thing that we connect, which connects us to this outside world. But अरे जो connect कर रहा है वही permanent नहीं है, तो तुम कैसे permanent हो सकते हो? See what I'm saying? Where they are coming from in this particular one.
Would you consider example of 2 trains going at the same speed in opposite directions? You would see that, they're going.
But that was it happening to us. That if you think about it, if we are sitting on this earth, right? It looks so serene and quiet. Do you see any moment? Right now, there is no wind is also not going. Looking like ocean is looking as though from where I'm watching the ocean right now. And it's looking like totally serene. I can't see even a single wave. But we know there is a lot of halchal there. And then coming back to the scientific fact about the earth, the speed of earth in 24 hours, it's 24,000 miles it covers. So that means 1,000 miles an hour it's going. Right? Do we feel the speed? That's one speed of thing. Then it's going around the sun. That speed has to be much more. It's going around the sun, right? What I was just talking of the rotation of day and night that happens. And then it's going around the sun. Uski speed hai, double speed ho gayi. फिर third speed hai, our galaxy is moving. I don't know whether, because I'm interested in that subject. So the other Andromeda and us are coming closer. One day we're going to merge. God knows in how many billion years, I don't know. But that speed is there too. Mm-hmm. Do we feel it? No. But we know from our buddhi. That's why buddhi is higher than what our senses. Mind is higher than senses. Buddhi is higher than mind. By buddhi we know this. The same way we have to apply the buddhi to this fact. So all you are telling about those, opposite direction, at certain circumstances in the science also, it looks like as though we are stationary. When we are in the plane and we are going all higher up and you looking down, you don't feel the speed. Yeah. It looks like it is crawling slowly, but the speed is 300, 400 miles an hour. Car, if my husband drives 120, I start getting nervous. Or 100, not 120, sorry. 90 I started. 90 I start.
Everybody would be worried.
But there we are going 400 miles, we don't feel it. But by buddhi we know. So the same principle applied over here, that everything is changing. There has to be a changeless substratum.
Yes.
That's what the Shruti is telling us to focus on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other point, question? Okay, so we can wrap it up today. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम.